Good morning, Rafael.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. We'll get started. Jonathan Fagan.
Good morning. Do
Morning.
you feel that yesterday's moves, did you improve this team? Was that the goal? And if not, why would that not be the goal?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're trying to build something, and I do think we improved the team, at least from the perspective of what we're trying to do. And so Eric Gordon's a really good basketball player, and he plays basketball to me the way it's supposed to be played. And any team that adds Eric is adding a really good player. And if you lose him, you're losing one. So that it's, but I don't take your question that way. We are going to have the most cap space this summer of any team in the NBA. I believe there are actually so many deals done in the league that there's some 10% chance that something flipped and that I missed. But we're gonna have a lot of room to sign free agents, to make trades into that space, to really transform the team. And we decided that we're really valuing that flexibility. And so within that context, we think that we improved the team.
Kelly Eco.
Rafael, if you want to call phase one, these last 3 seasons of developing young guys, building young talent up, what does phase two look like, and how confident are you guys that phase two will be successful?
I mean, I'm very confident phase two will be successful. It's like asking me if I'm confident myself, right? So I'm very optimistic. I'm very confident. Yeah, that is the answer to that piece of the question. I think I missed the first piece of your question because I started laughing about that piece. Sorry, what was the first part?
Sorry, the first piece was, if you want to call phase one developing young talent, building the young guys up, what does phase two look like as it pertains to your young core?
Yeah, as it pertains to the young core, I mean, I think for them it's really easy. It's just continued growth, right? Like that they need to transition from being young players getting their feet wet in the NBA to becoming good players able to compete and win on a daily basis in the NBA. That is the challenge for our young group.
Chancellor Johnson. Chancellor. Ben DeBose.
Hey, Rafael, the veterans that you got in these dealings, Danny, Justin, Frank, guys like that, I guess first off, have you had conversations with them yet about where they might fit into this, or if they do fit in? And then secondly, when you're having those conversations, and I'm sure it's similar to what you did with Dennis at the deadline a year ago, what are the criteria that you're thinking of when you're trying to determine, are these guys going to be a fit for us the rest of the season?
Yeah, I have talked to them. And it's not like I like these guys. I think they're all players who've played successful roles on good NBA teams in the past, and I think they're all valuable players. As it relates to their roles on this team as it is now, that's really for Steven. Like we've only had, I don't know, 20 minutes to talk about it, and so it's not fair for me to just start pontificating about how they should and will be used for the remainder of the year. I think that ultimately is his decision, and obviously I have thoughts, and it's something that we can discuss, but it's ultimately on him. So I shouldn't comment on that now. And my guess is he wouldn't want to comment on it now, because as with everything, it's a two-way street. It has to be a fit. We got to get these guys in. We have to get to know them. They have to get to know us. And so, very similar to what we've done in the past, whether it was Dennis or Kelly or whomever, I think, that's what we'll do this time.
Jackson Gatlin.
Hey, Rafael. In the aftermath of the Brooklyn Nets trading Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, what is your current evaluation of the Nets picks from the James Harden trade? And were there any discussions explored involving those picks before yesterday's deadline?
I mean, I don't want to talk about the Nets. That's not my place. As it relates to the picks we hold, that, you know, they're assets. And so we obviously can just hold them until the time it comes to pick them. We can trade them, and we talked to every single team in the NBA over the past couple of weeks multiple times, and all of our picks were in those discussions in some way, shape, or form. And so, I think, it's kind of, I don't really know how to answer that other than that it just is. And it's certainly not my business to talk about the Nets.
Lashard Binkley.
Hello, Rafael. I wanted to ask you about the development of your young players like Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, Alperen Şengün. Are they at the point where you want them to be as far as their development so far in their career? And what do you want to see from them going forward this season as far as going into next season when you're going to be looking to move on from the rebuild into the next phase of competing for a play-in spot possibly?
I mean, to answer the first part of your question, no, we're greedy. We want them to be, great players, and they're not yet. So no, like the goal is not to be okay. It's not to be improving. It's to be great. And we're realistic. We know that we knew that they wouldn't be great in this time frame. But that's the goal. So until we get to the goal, we're not going to be satisfied. We like them. We like their work ethic. We're excited about their future. But we all have a lot of work to do. And in terms of, I guess at least the way I interpret the second part of your question, I think this season's really important for us. It's important for them. They need to grind and really work and figure things out and get better game by game. And largely, I think, especially from, I think they're doing that. And I think you've seen improvement from all of them. And then from us, we have to figure out what, these games are important for us as we transition into the summer. Sorry, there's like a fly here. We have to evaluate where these guys are and where we guess they're going to be in a year. And that's going to, no matter how good they are or whatever, we are going to have to be guessing just because of the stage they're at in their career, as it relates to figuring out what our team's going to look like next year. So we were cognizant of that before the trade deadline, before the year, and we are now. But hopefully that answers your question.
Danielle Lerner.
For your other first round picks like Josh Christopher, Tari Eason, Usman, Ty, who have not been getting quite as much playing time as, Jalen, Alpi, Jabari, how do you see them, I guess, taking advantage of some of the moves that you guys made yesterday for the remainder of this season, while you're trying to evaluate their development in that same way? Is it more crucial for those guys to kind of move up in the rotation a little bit and get that time?
Well, Tari plays. He plays every game. He plays a lot. He's a rotational guy for us. He has been since the beginning of the year. So, again, with the caveat that the rotations are Stevens, I'd be surprised, I guess, if that changes. It's really not my place to say. But with the other guys, they have to earn playing time. They did before and they do now. And so, I don't think that was a huge impetus of this deal. I think, kind of coming into this year, we were comfortable because we felt like whoever we played, they had room, with the exception of Eric, who we kind of knew what he was. Everybody else had a contract we liked, was at a stage in their career we liked. And so whoever played. And so, and I think we're still there.
Adam Spolin.
When did the Clippers trade really start to come together? And did you go into the last few days thinking that you would trade Eric, or was it just a trade that you felt like you couldn't pass up?
I think the Clippers trade came together probably in the last few days. So, And then, you know, I don't, you know, I think we were really just trying to balance out what our goals were going to be on the long term, especially this summer. And we did factor in a little bit that we thought it was good for him, like, you know, so that impacted things a little bit. Yeah, I mean, that's how I would phrase it. I think like, you know, like most trades that happen, I think at least standing here, you know, 5 minutes after the trade, all parties feel like they're slightly better off. And I think those are the trades that tend to happen because everybody feels good about it.
Brian Bearfield.
Mr. Stone, with you all brought in Steven Silas to coach a team full of veterans, and now he's coaching a lot of, you know, younger players that could have been playing in college right now. I know that you can't speak to so much to his future as far as a contract extension or things like that, but will he be able to see this rebuild through?
You just asked me the same question a different way. Look, we don't talk about people's contracts. Doesn't matter if they're players or coaches or front office people. That would not be appropriate.
Terrence Harris.
Hey, Rafael, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Hey, you know, and you've kind of touched on this a little bit, but where do you feel like you guys are in this rebuild process? And are you where you thought you would be or not? And if in either way, I mean, is there a reason why you guys haven't, you know, gotten to where you would have hoped you would be at this point?
Sorry, I missed like some key words in there.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, can you ask the question again?
Okay, I want to find out just where do you guys feel like you are in this rebuild process, and are you where you would want to be and thought you would be when you first set out?
I think we are actually. Yeah, I mean, I think you know, I think we have a lot of cap space. I think we have quite a bit of talent on the team. It is for sure unproven talent, but I'm very optimistic about our players and their futures. And so now we have kind of flexibility to start to really grow and build. So I do think we are where we hoped we'd be at kind of the stage.
Cody Davis.
Good morning, Mr. Stone. Over the last couple of weeks, both Coach Steven Silas and John Lucas talked about how Eric Gordon has been able to help this team as a veteran player. So now that he's gone, who do you think, or do you believe you guys have somebody on the team that could continue being that veteran voice for these young guys to lean on?
Yeah, well, we added a couple of truly, you know, of guys who've really been around the league and very similar to Eric, you know, have wonderful reputations and obviously have great work ethics. You just look at their body of work and at their careers, and you don't, that doesn't happen by accident. So from that perspective, I do think we replace some of that. But it's also not like, you know, for a lot of these guys who've been here, let's just say the guys we drafted, not this past summer, but the year before, they've now been here for, I don't know, whatever it is, 18 months. So for 18 months, they've been practicing with this guy. They've watched how he worked, some of this either took or it didn't take, right? Like a lot of it to me, it's useful to have people to talk to, and it is useful to have teammates to talk to. But the thing that's the most irreplaceable is watching somebody do something right over and over and over again. And if you've watched someone do something right for a year and a half, and then they're not there the next day, that year and a half doesn't go away. So, you know, I guess that's what my way of saying that we're thankful for what Eric has done. And we think that's going to be lasting. You know, yes, that's what I would say.
Vanessa Richardson.
Hi, Rafael. I was able to talk to Justin at practice, and he said that this is a young group that's really talented. How excited are you to have a veteran that's played with so many teams and is a champion around these young guys?
Yeah, so I don't know Justin. I don't know Danny. Like I got the chance to talk to both of them for quite a while yesterday, but we don't know each other. I'm excited to get to know these guys, but like I said, reputationally, and Frank too, that reputationally, they're all the types of people that you want in your organization. So yeah, I think it's great. And yeah, and I'm looking forward to getting to know them.
Chancellor Johnson. Jonathan Fagan.
I'm sorry if I missed this or if I just wasn't clear. Justin's obviously with the team, apparently. Do you expect Danny to finish the year with you? Is he with the team? Or if he is going to be, do you know when he will be?
He's not with the team yet. I think he's going to end up being with the team. At least that was my conversation yesterday. And as it relates to finish the year, like this is, yeah, like I don't want to answer that, not because it's like some trick question or something. I don't think you, but like, because we have to figure this all out. I don't know him. He doesn't know us. Like we have to make sure this is a good fit. I think, and based on my conversation yesterday, I think he thinks that it could be a very good fit. So this isn't to be pessimistic. It's just to say it's a little too soon to figure that all out. And for sure, I don't want, with any player, I wouldn't want to do something that is harmful to them. So it is a two-way street for us. We want to make sure that there's a really good fit. I'm optimistic that with all these guys, it will be a really good fit, but I'm not in the business of predicting the future.
Okay, so with Danny, it's TBD still, whether he.
I mean, slightly. I think he's coming. Like there's not a lot to read in here, Jonathan. Like I think, like I just told you, I think he's coming in. I think it's going to all work out. We had a great conversation, but just as it could change in a moment's notice with Justin, it could with Danny, it could with anything. Like that's the business we're in. But no, I mean, I think he's coming in, and I think he's going to be with us. But you asked like to end the season, and I think that's a little bit of an unfair question.
And then just on Danny, then this is a guy with as many championship rings as most of your players have seasons. Was that part of the thinking, or sometimes it's just got on trade deadline, you got to make contracts and so on? In other words, is there value of what he's been through?
No, there's for sure value in Danny. Like there's for sure value in Danny, but and that was the conversation we had yesterday. And we'll just see where it goes.
Thank you.
We'll take three more. Matt Musil.
Rafael, many of us assumed when this deal went down that you would waive John Wall.
Sorry, I missed your whole first sentence. Can you start over?
Do you hear me now?
I can.
Many of us assumed that you would waive John Wall after this deal, and there's been a report that it has been, that you've talked with him. I just want to hear from you just to lay it out about John Wall's situation.
Yeah, I mean, the deal is not done. We are allowed to talk about it, but the trade is not completed yet. If the trade completes, we do intend at this time to waive John.
Dave Hardesty.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we do. We've picked 7 guys in the first round in the last couple of years. So I think we're probably at a point where we're very much quality over quantity. But also, I think much more important than that actually is just the trade value of the pick. So if you we've run every model you could run. So we have guesses as to the value of the swap, but at this stage, it's just a value. It's just a guess, sorry. Having said that, like if the swap ends up being, I don't know, the difference between 20 and 27 or something like that, sometimes you end up with the same player. Not all, probably, I don't know, 25% of the time you'll end up with some same player, and people, why would you do the swap? Well, because the value is really in the trade value of 20 is, materially higher than that of 27. And so as we're kind of approaching this next stage of the rebuild, a lot of our focus is on trade value and not just on trying to bring in another young guy. That doesn't mean we won't pick it, but it is that flexibility is an enormous part of our planning on a going forward basis. So that was a driver behind us thinking it was a good idea.
And last question, Kelly Eco.
Hey, Rafael, just what is your view on kind of the struggles this team has gone through this season? And now, between now and the end of the year, do you expect some of the similar struggles on offense and defense just because of all the young guys that you have under contract?
Similar struggles. I think I know what you mean, but like, yeah, just be. I need you to be more specific. I'm sorry, Kelly.
So, I mean, this year has been a struggle in terms of trying to put together a comprehensive defense, comprehensive offense. Now, with the trade deadline passed and Eric Gordon gone, and given how important he was to the structure of this team, do you expect some of the similar struggles that we've seen at times this season on both sides of the ball?
I mean, some of it is you hope that that we grow on both sides of the ball. I mean, I'm struggling with the word struggle. Like, if you're saying, are we magically going to transform into a playoff team? I think that's probably very hard. But we want to see improvement. We want to see our defensive rotations get better. We want to see our offensive execution get better. Just in terms of guys understanding what they're supposed to do. Largely those things had nothing to do with Eric. So I think, I guess, the honest answer is I haven't thought about it in that context much. So I guess I'm struggling to give you a good answer. What we do want is our guys really competing really hard. And I think if that happens, you're going to see improvement, because if you play hard and you're trying to do the right thing, that repetition will result in improvement both offensively and defensively on an individual basis, will result in a team basis. That's really a key for our group. And so I think that's what we're looking for. Your word struggle, I'm struggling with, but that's what we're looking for from the group is kind of, the effort which leads to really good habits, and those habits leading to improvement.
Thank you, Rafael. We appreciate your time.
No problem.
Thank you to all the media that joined today. Have a great day.
You too, Tracy.
Bye, Tracy.